Dad's eyes sparkled with excitement even before he took a seat. The chandeliers cast a warm golden glow throughout the room, reflecting off the meticulously arranged glassware that seemed almost theatrical. Outside the expansive windows, Madison glimmered like a dream. For him, it was pure enchantment. For me, it was all about the logistics. "This is amazing, sweetheart," he exclaimed, giving my hand a gentle squeeze as a waiter presented his beloved lobster dish. "I can't believe you secured a private room here. Don't they usually book out 6 months ahead?" I allowed a small smile to form, opting not to respond directly. Let him hold on to the illusion. Let him savor the experience. He didn't need to know the reality, that I had orchestrated this through my company's corporate account, which had already spent $500,000 here in just the last month. $3,000 for his birthday was a mere drop in the bucket compared to that. But the joy on his face? That was invaluable. My older sister, Jessica, placed her wine glass down with a sharp clatter against the table. At 32, she was a thriving marketing director at a well-known Madison firm, and she made sure everyone was aware of it. Her husband, Eric, an investment banker, nodded in agreement as she began to speak. "Jessica, we need to have a serious talk," she said, her tone adopting that patronizing edge I had come to despise over the years. "On Dad's birthday?" I interjected, trying to divert whatever criticism was on the horizon. "Especially on Dad's birthday, just look around this room. Do you have any idea how much this dinner is costing? Lou Bernardine doesn't do casual dining. The wine alone is probably pricier than your monthly rent." Mom, looking elegant in her pearl necklace and navy dress, appeared uneasy. "Jessica, maybe this isn't the right moment." "No, Mom. Someone has to say it." Jessica's voice rose, attracting the attention of our waiter who was getting ready to serve the next course. Jessica is 26 years old, living in a studio apartment in Queens, and working at some vague consulting job that none of us really understand. And yet, she persistently attempts to cover the cost of lavish dinners, purchasing extravagant gifts, and behaving as if she possesses wealth that she clearly does not. I quietly stated that I do have money, prompting Eric to laugh, his tone harsh and derisive. "Really? What's your annual income, Jessica?" Because Jessica earns $180,000 annually, plus bonuses. I earn $350,000. We understand what genuine wealth looks like. "Stop pretending to be affluent, Jessica," she continued, her voice now echoing across the dining room. "It's embarrassing for everyone involved. You're going to find yourself in debt trying to maintain appearances." My younger brother, Christopher, 24, who just graduated from his MBA program, nodded earnestly. Jessica is correct. I've been monitoring my expenses since graduation, and I know precisely what it costs to live in New York. There's no way a freelance consultant can afford dinners like this. "Freelance consultant?" I echoed, genuinely perplexed. "Whatever it is you do with computers," Jessica said dismissively. "The point is, you need to abandon this fantasy and start living within your financial means. Dad's birthday dinner should be at a nice chain restaurant, not the priciest venue in Madison." Dad appeared distressed. "If this is too much, it's not too much for me," I asserted firmly. "This is exactly where I wanted to celebrate Dad's birthday." "With what money?" Jessica challenged. "Your credit cards are likely maxed out from funding this charade." "I'm not using credit cards." Eric took out his phone. "You know what? Let's resolve this right now. Show us your bank account balance. If you truly have money, prove it." "Eric," Mom interjected sharply. "That's inappropriate." "No, it's necessary," Jessica insisted. "Jessica needs a reality check before she jeopardizes her financial future trying to impress us." I glanced around the table at my family, these people I cherished deeply, who had supported me throughout college and celebrated my accomplishments, yet somehow believed I was living beyond my means and heading toward financial disaster. "Do you really think I can't afford this dinner?" I inquired. "We know you can't afford this dinner," Jessica remarked. "The real question is if you're finally ready to acknowledge it." The waiter came to our table with the dessert, an intricate chocolate souffle that was Dad's favorite. As he placed it down, I noticed him attempting to ignore the escalating tension in our conversation. "Actually," I said, reaching into my purse. "Let me show you I'm right." I retrieved my black American Express card, the exclusive Centurion card that demanded a $10,000 annual fee and had no preset spending limit. The card, made of titanium, had a unique heft that felt oddly comforting in my hand. "Oh, come on," Jessica scoffed. "A black card? How much did you shell out for that fake?" "It's not fake," Eric interjected with exaggerated calm. "Real black cards require a minimum annual charge of $250,000. They don't just hand them out to anyone. I know what they entail." I passed the card to our waiter, who accepted it with professionalism despite the evident family strain. "For the full bill, please." "Of course, Miss Hayes." As he walked away, Jessica shook her head in disappointment. "This is exactly what I mean. You're so eager to seem successful that you're resorting to fake credit cards. Do you even realize the consequences of credit card fraud? It's not fraud. Then why do you look so anxious?" Christopher noted. "You seem like you're about to be sick." I wasn't anxious about the card being fake. I was worried about what would happen when it got declined for an entirely different reason. A reason my family would never suspect. 5 minutes later, our waiter returned, looking apologetic and a bit bewildered. "Miss Hayes, I apologize, but there appears to be a problem with your card." The table fell silent. "A problem?" I asked, though I had a strong suspicion of what the issue was. "It was declined. Would you like to use another payment method?" The ensuing silence was deafening. Then Jessica erupted in laughter. "Oh my God, Jessica, your fake black card got declined. This is invaluable." Eric was chuckling as well. "A counterfeit Centurion card that doesn't even function. That's a new low. I told you she was faking it," Jessica remarked to our parents, who appeared horrified. Now we're all going to be burdened with this bill because Jessica had to dress up. Christopher was shaking his head. "Jess, this is really messed up. Using phony credit cards, lying about having funds." "I wasn't lying," I replied, but my voice was drowned out by their laughter and criticism. "Ma'am," the waiter said softly. "Should I bring the bill to someone else?" "Just give me a moment," I said, pulling out my phone. "What are you doing?" Jessica inquired, still laughing. "Calling your credit card company to find out why your fake card isn't working." I was about to answer when a man in a pricey suit rushed into our private dining area. I recognized him instantly, Thomas Chin, the restaurant's general manager, with whom I had collaborated extensively on several large catering events. "Miss Hayes," he said, slightly out of breath. "I sincerely apologize. I just learned about the payment issue." The laughter at our table ceased abruptly. "Thomas," I said calmly, "is there a problem with the payment system?" No, the system is functioning properly. The problem is that we still owe you $500,000 from last month's catering contract. Your black card was declined because our accounting department flagged it. We can't charge someone we already owe money to." The silence that enveloped our table was complete. I could hear the soft jazz music playing in the main dining room, the distant clinking of silverware, the gentle murmur of conversation from other tables. But at our table, there was nothing. $500,000, Dad whispered. From the Morrison Industries Gala, the Goldman Sachs private dinner, and the United Nations reception, Thomas clarified, checking his tablet. "All catered through your company, Hayes Events. We've been attempting to process the payment, but your accounting department instructed us to hold the check until after the quarterly review." "That's fine, Thomas. Just apply tonight's dinner to the outstanding balance." "Certainly, Miss Hayes. Once again, I truly apologize for the misunderstanding." He rushed off, leaving us in shocked silence. "Hayes Events?" Mom inquired weakly. "Company?" I replied simply. "Your company?" Jessica echoed, her voice barely above a whisper. The event planning and catering business I've been developing for the last 4 years. Eric was looking at me as if I had sprouted a second head. You own an event planning company? I run the largest luxury event planning firm on the East Coast. We manage corporate galas, private gatherings, weddings, and cultural events for high-net-worth clients and Fortune 500 companies. But you mentioned you were a consultant. Christopher remarked. I said I consult with individuals regarding events, which is technically true. Jessica's complexion had turned completely pale. How big is the largest luxury event planning firm? I took out my phone and opened my banking app, tilting the screen so they could all see it. Last year's revenue was $47 million. This year, we're projected to reach $68 million. $68 million, Dad said faintly. In dollars. Our client roster includes 12 Fortune 100 companies, 43 high-net-worth individuals with assets exceeding $50 million, and we are the exclusive event planners for the United Nations, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and the New York Philharmonic. The Metropolitan Museum, Mom. Remember that charity gala you went to last month? The one for cancer research that raised $12 million? I organized that event. Eric was hurriedly typing on his phone. Hayes Events. Holy, you're Jessica Hayes. I'm Jessica Hayes. I can't say if I'm Jessica Hayes. Forbes 30 under 30. He read from his phone. Recognized as one of New York's most influential event planners. Estimated net worth of $25 million. $28 million as of the last quarter. I corrected him quietly. Jessica appeared as if she might be ill. $28 million plus the worth of the business itself, real estate assets, and investment portfolio. But you reside in Queens, Christopher said weakly. I reside in a penthouse located in Long Island City, featuring a private terrace that offers a view of Madison. The building includes its own helipad. Helipad? It's quite handy for reaching events in the Hamptons. The waiter came back with a bottle of champagne, courtesy of the house. Ms. Hayes. Manager Chin wanted to express his apologies once more for the confusion regarding the payment. As he filled our glasses with champagne, an awkward silence enveloped our table. My family was absorbing the news, attempting to reconcile the sister and daughter they believed they knew with the multimillionaire businesswoman sitting before them. I don't get it, Dad finally said. You're worth $28 million, yet you let us think you were struggling. I never claimed I was struggling. You live a simple life. You dress modestly. You drive an ordinary car, Jessica remarked, her voice still filled with disbelief. I live simply because I work 18-hour days and lack the time for material possessions. I dress modestly so my clients can concentrate on their events rather than my attire. And I drive a regular car because it's dependable and doesn't attract attention. But why didn't you share this with us? Mom inquired, tears beginning to well in her eyes. Because I wanted you to appreciate me for who I am, not for my accomplishments. I wanted to create something entirely on my own, without anyone being able to claim I succeeded due to family ties or assistance. We lack connections in event planning, Eric noted. Exactly. That's why I was certain that whatever I built would be solely my own achievement. Jessica was still fixated on her phone, reading what seemed to be news articles about my company. You organized the Bloomberg Foundation Gala, the one featured in Vanity Fair, and the Rockefeller wedding, the Goldman Sachs anniversary celebration, and the UN 75th anniversary event. The UN anniversary event, Christopher echoed slowly. That was in the news. They mentioned it was the most expensive private event in New York history. A $12 million budget that took 6 months to plan and execute. And you were the one who planned it. I organized it, managed it, and executed it perfectly, just as I have for 200 other significant events over the past 4 years. Dad reached over the table and grasped my hand. Sweetheart, I'm incredibly proud of you, but I'm also puzzled. Why all the secrecy? Because I feared this moment. I gestured around the table. I was worried that once you learned about the money, you'd start viewing me differently. That suddenly my opinions would hold more weight. That you'd regard me as someone significant instead of just Jessica. You are someone significant, Mom asserted firmly. You're our daughter. But would you have said that an hour ago when you believed I was a struggling consultant? The question lingered in the air, unanswered, because we all understood the reality. I feel foolish, Jessica murmured. I spent the whole evening lecturing you on money management when you're worth more than Eric and I will likely earn in our entire careers combined. You're not foolish. You were trying to shield me from what you perceived as financial irresponsibility by embarrassing me in front of the whole restaurant. By caring enough about my future to risk an awkward conversation. Eric was still scrolling through his phone. According to this article, you have 200 full-time employees and another 500 contractors. 237 full-time employees as of last week, I corrected. We just brought on a new creative director. You have employees? Christopher asked, shaking his head in disbelief. I have employees, office space in Madison and the Hamptons, a warehouse facility in Queens, and partnerships with vendors nationwide. And we thought you were broke, Jessica said, laughing despite herself. Not broke, just not keen on showing off wealth. Thomas Chin returned to our table with a leather folder. Ms. Hayes, I've taken care of tonight's charges. They've been applied to your outstanding balance. Is there anything else we can assist you with this evening? Actually, Thomas, I'd like to reserve the private wine cellar for next month. I'm organizing a surprise anniversary celebration for my parents. Naturally, I initially thought of 50 guests, but let's make it 100. I want to include the extended family. Consider it done. Tomorrow, my events coordinator will reach out to your office. After he left, Mom was openly crying. A surprise anniversary celebration. 35 years calls for something extraordinary. I envisioned a jazz trio, your favorite flowers, and that chocolate dessert Dad adores. But then there's the cost. Dad started to speak. Dad, I manage $12 million events for clients. Your anniversary celebration will be the most significant event I organize all year, and budget won't be an issue. Because you're wealthy, Jessica remarked, still processing the information. Because you're my family, and I love you. The champagne was poured, and Dad lifted his glass with slightly trembling hands. To my daughter Jessica, who has apparently been surprising us for years. To family, I corrected him. And to those who love you, even when they believe you're making poor financial choices. To family, everyone echoed. For the first time that evening, the laughter around our table felt warm and genuine. As we finished our champagne, I heard Christopher say, I have one more question. The black card that got declined is entirely legitimate. Centurion cards can be declined when the merchant owes you more than you're attempting to spend, which happens to you more often than you'd expect. The catering industry involves significant upfront costs and delayed payments. Jessica shook her head. My sister, the secret millionaire. Not so secret anymore. Are you happy? Mom suddenly asked. With everything you've accomplished, all the success, are you truly happy? I glanced around the table at my family. These individuals who raised me, supported me through college, and worried about my financial future even when they had no clue about my actual finances. I love what I do. I relish the challenge of crafting perfect events, the joy of surpassing clients' expectations, and the excitement of managing intricate logistics. I cherish the opportunity to use my achievements to treat Dad to the birthday dinner he truly deserves. At Lou Bernardine, Dad remarked, smiling through his tears. At the finest restaurant in New York, because that's the place my father should celebrate his 60th birthday. Even if his children believed that his daughter couldn't afford it, Jessica added with a hint of sadness. Especially since his children care enough about him to be concerned about financial matters. Eric lifted his glass once more. To Jessica Hayes, the event planning mogul and evidently the most accomplished person any of us know. To Jessica, Mom corrected, who understood that family takes precedence over keeping secrets. As we exited Bernardine that night, stepping into the brisk Madison air, I came to realize that some truths are worth the fleeting embarrassment they bring. My family was aware of the reality now, and somehow that made everything I had achieved feel more genuine, more significant. Next time, Jessica suggested, linking her arm with mine. Perhaps just start with "I'm a multimillionaire." Instead of allowing us to fret over your fake credit cards, deal? I chuckled. As long as you promise to continue worrying about my financial choices, successful or not, I still need my big sister watching over me. Always, she replied, though perhaps with a bit less public embarrassment next time. Where's the fun in that? The stroll back to our cars was filled with inquiries about the business, tales of celebrity clients, and plans for the anniversary celebration, but mostly, it was enriched with the kind of relaxed family dialogue that arises when you finally stop pretending to be someone else. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can offer your family isn't an extravagant dinner or a surprise celebration. It's the gift of being entirely and authentically yourself, even when that self happens to be valued at $28 million.